screen here so I can pull up the PowerPoint, just so everyone knows while I'm trying to figure out this Zoom here. My name's Carissa Kalikia. I'm one of the PGY3s. Can you guys see this breakout room PowerPoint? Awesome. Look at me. I'm very talented. I'm one of the PGY3s at the Advocate Children's in Oaklawn program. So I will be kind of introducing all of the people that are in this breakout room now. If at any time you guys want to ask any questions, please unmute yourself. This is a very low-key environment. All of us are here because you guys made this opportunity by being here, and we're just happy that we, as residents and as program directors, get to be a part of this and answer all of your questions. So please feel free to put on your videos or not, whatever you guys are more comfortable with. If you're more comfortable using the chat, we can use that and then go and answer stuff in the Q&A. So I'll go ahead and get started. So we have quite a few programs in this block. Our first is my near and dear, my residency program. So Advocate Children's in Oaklawn. We're in the southwest part of the suburbs of Chicago, and Dr. Mark Betterly is our program director. We also have Case Western Reserve, the Rainbow Babies Children's Hospital, and we heard from Dr. Keith Ponitz earlier. We also have the University of Iowa with the program director, Amy Steyer, Nationwide Children's and the Dr. Rebecca Wallahan. We have the University of Oklahoma Health in Oklahoma City and Dr. Jill Warren. And then last but not least, certainly, is Dr. Joe Zenel in the University of South Dakota. Woohoo!
Yep. Hotspot COVID right now.
Quit bragging. So I myself will be one of the moderators, just helping navigate anything. So if I'm not doing anything correctly, I am sitting across the table from Kelsey, so she can yell at me. But please let me know if something's not going wrong. And then we have a couple from the program as well. I myself, Sonia, and Sion from Case Western. University of Iowa is Megan and Melissa. Nationwide Children's is Rachel and Evan. And then lastly, the Oklahoma City program is Chris and Zachary. I'm just assuming you go by that, Zach. I'm sorry, I've never met you. All right, moving on. So we'll start off with Advocate Children's in Oaklawn, and Dr. Betterly, I'll pass it over to you to say some words about our program.
Yeah, thank you very much. And welcome everybody. I appreciate you committing the time and the effort ultimately on a Friday evening. It's a beautiful day across most of the Midwest and Mid-America region. It got almost up to 80 degrees today, just outside of the city of Chicago. I appreciate the time and effort you guys are putting into this process in this unprecedented year of virtual reality, essentially. But we are the Advocate Children's Hospital Oaklawn residency program. We are a member of a larger not-for-profit healthcare system that is known as Advocate Aurora Health, which is about a 5 or 6 year old merger between two very large not-for-profit healthcare systems, Advocate Healthcare, traditionally operating just in the state of Illinois, and Aurora Healthcare, traditionally operating in the state of Wisconsin. So ultimately coming together to form the 10th largest not-for-profit healthcare system in the entire United States of America. And from that standpoint, we are the only freestanding children's hospital within that large non-for-profit healthcare network. I think that's a hallmark ultimately to the training opportunities within our residency program, is that we have large patient populations, a large lidded area, not just outside of the city of Chicago, but the southwest suburbs, northwest Indiana, and even some of the rural areas in north central Illinois. We have a rather unique opportunity to also have a sister program of Advocate Children's Hospital in Park Ridge that is off the northwest corner of the city of Chicago, so that we flank the city and provide a significant majority of the ambulatory primary care, as well as subspecialty and hospital care for the densely populated areas across the major metro areas of Chicago. We are a US News ranked cardiology and cardiovascular surgery program, and essentially have all of the expected medical and surgical needs for all of our patients, from primary care to subspecialty care to tertiary care, all available in and around our campus. But I think what ultimately sets us slightly apart is that we're not a traditional university healthcare system. We're a network of community hospitals that have come together over the last several decades to form both medical education institutions, like I said, tertiary care institutions, as well as a rather large medical education network. Cross Advocate Children's Hospital, we have 2 residency programs, as I've mentioned already. We have 3 fellowship programs and are in the process of emerging towards a hospitalist fellowship program as well. We're a medium-sized residency program, and that's ultimately, I think, how you guys have been filtered ultimately into this cohort 5 or this breakout room 5, is that largely these are medium-sized programs and inherently are able to pay a little bit closer attention perhaps than to each and one of our individual residents, starting not just with faculty advisorship and ultimately mentorship throughout our internship, but senior leadership in the PGY 2-year and individualized curriculum decisions within your PGY spanning across well. So from that perspective, we have a rather diverse population serving an incredibly diverse, both urban, suburban, and rural, racial, ethnically, and socioeconomically diverse population. And a significant portion of what we do is not only within the realm and the walls of our children's hospital, but out in those communities as well. Again, being founded as a network of community hospitals coming together to provide both primary and tertiary care. The best way to get a hold of us is ultimately through our websites and our extremely active Instagram account, primarily ushered through by Carissa, who you're meeting this evening, who is very active from that standpoint. I do not have any social media accounts. I keep myself neutral from all of those perspectives, but I am told nothing but the best about our Instagram account. So thank you very much. And I appreciate all that time and effort and appreciate getting a chance to get in front of you guys today. Hopefully we'll talk not only later this evening, but further on down the road. But thank you very much.
All righty. So let me advance. Let me see. I did it a little prematurely. So our next program, we will hear from Dr. Keith Ponitz. Go ahead and take the floor.
All right. Well, hi, everybody again. So just again, I'm Keith Ponitz. I'm Residency Program Director here at Rainbow. It can be a little bit confusing, but our long name is Case Western Reserve University, University Hospitals of Cleveland, Rainbow Babies and Children's Hospital. But with all of that said, we are indeed a freestanding children's hospital. And we are part of a larger integrated healthcare system. Some of the advantages to that for us is that we are attached to not only the adult hospital, but the women's hospital here in Cleveland. And so a lot of the children and women's services are integrated with our healthcare system. And in addition, not only here at the hospital, but we also have a UH Rainbow Center for Women and Children where we do our primary care. We think of ourselves as a medium to large program. We have 27 categorical residents each year. We also have 4 med peds residents, and then we have a small peds neuro and peds genetics program as well here in Cleveland. One of the things that we love to do is we love to have a theme for our residency each year. Over the last few years, we committed ourselves to a year of wellness. 2 years ago, we did Finding Meaning at Work. Last year, we challenged ourselves. And this year, we have committed ourselves to being upstanders. And so upstanders, if you think about kind of hashtag no more bystanders, you can think that that helps you understand what an upstander is. And with all of the social injustices and inequities that are going around the United States and the world, we felt that this was the time to really commit ourselves to a program that really addresses these issues. In terms of the residency itself, we love to you'll hear us talk a lot about passions because we want to foster people's individual passions. That's what we care about here at Rainbow. And it kind of fits nicely into that Midwest theme that you guys were hearing about. I think I'm gonna stop talking for a second because I really want to give Ashley and Sonia and our chief residents to be a chance to share with you some of the highlights in our program as well.
Hi guys, I'm Ashley. I'm one of the current pediatric PGY3s. I just wanted to share some of my favorite things about our program. So one of the unique things about our program is 6+2 scheduling system. If you don't know what that means that we have 6 weeks where we could be on any rotation, from inpatient, elective, newborn nursery, vacation. But then after those 6 weeks, we have 2 weeks of ambulatory clinic. All of our outpatient clinic is in that 2-week block. So you're never leaving a busy inpatient or ICU rotation to rush over to clinic and have to do both inpatient and outpatient notes. And you also generally have golden weekends on those outpatient weeks. So it's a nice break to see your friends, your family, and your significant others. The nice thing about that too is you have the same 2-week ambulatory blocks with the same group of co-residents. So you become a family and you become very close to each other in taking care of patients. It's a great lifestyle for residency and it really helps the wellness of our program. And then speaking of our ambulatory blocks, we just built in 2018, it was finished, a new environmentally friendly women's and children's healthcare center in one of our inner city neighborhoods to better serve our underserved population. And that is a one-stop shop for our patients. You have pediatric care, you have OB care, you have women's health, you have nutrition, lactation, social work, an urgent/sick care clinic, an in-house pharmacy, an in-house dental office, and an in-house eye clinic. So it's a really great place for our families to get their care, and it's in their neighborhood, so they don't have to travel far if they have transportation. So those are 2 of my favorite things about our program, and I'm going to go over to my co-resident Sean to tell you a little bit more.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sean. I am also one of the 3rd-year residents at Rainbow. One of the favorite rotations that often a lot of Rainbow residents have is our Silver Junior rotation. So just to give you a little bit of background, our Silver team functions throughout the year as a general inpatient pediatric hospital medicine team. So admitting everything from your pneumonia to gastro to your fever of unknown origin. At the beginning and the end of the year, it is staffed by 3 interns, a senior and an attending, plus or minus a fellow. But between the months of October and March, the structure changes a little bit and it goes to a team of 5 to 6 second-year residents and just 1 attending. So this is a really fantastic opportunity on this rotation for second years to kind of demonstrate some autonomy. They are on a call schedule throughout the month, so they're by themselves at night, obviously with the attending just a quick phone call away and your other residents there for questions if you have them. But really this team is there to help develop clinical decision-making skills, to be able to develop and implement your management plans, and then more importantly, to be able to justify and discuss with your team and the attending in the morning why you made those decisions overnight. Year after year, this is one of the rotations that Rainbow residents kind of talk about the most. It's a lot of fun. And one of the best parts about it as well is you're with a group of friends from your class, and it really kind of builds that camaraderie and support as you go throughout that month. And I personally really enjoyed my rotation. It was during the COVID time last year, so it was especially interesting, but it's really a lot of fun and you definitely learn a lot. So that was one of my favorite things about second year. And then quick plug for Rainbow. On Monday, we will be taking over the Future Peds Res Twitter account. So stay tuned if you want to see some fun things at Rainbow. And then we also have a very active social media committee, so make sure to follow us on Instagram if you haven't already. Thank you.
Myself. Thank you so much. I can always appreciate someone who takes social media seriously, as that's like my main role in the residency, other than, you know, learning and becoming a good doctor. But so I will advance the slides. Thank you so much for your time. We'll go to the next one, and we have the University of Iowa, and I will hand it over to Dr. Amy Steyer.
Hi, everybody. It is just such a pleasure to be here. I was actually a part of the very first webinar in this very room in my office at home when the future PEDS residents got together. So I'm thrilled to be here closing it out with the best regions in the country. So I am the program director from the University of Iowa. I have been here for all of my training, and I can't think of a better place to be. Joining me tonight are our 2 chief residents, Meg and Melissa. So they are a wealth of information and have done the residency a lot more recently than I have. What I think is special about the University of Iowa is the feel of the program. And I think all of us talking tonight really describe this sense of collaboration and community that we all feel and and value here in the Midwest. And I think that's one of the reasons that the University of Iowa is the place that I went to and the place that I stayed. And I am, what the residents that make up the program really truly create the culture. And we've really, I think, fostered and created a culture of community where people really take care of one another. The University of Iowa is a Big Ten university. It's a huge university and the state university for the state. It is located in Iowa City, Iowa, which is sort of, if you think of the catchment area, about 200 to 300,000 people. And so we sort of, in my mind, have the best of both worlds. We have a huge university that gives you all the benefits of a Big Ten university, including research and diversity and resources and NIH funding and people. And at the same time, we live in a community that it takes you 10 minutes to get to work. Many of our residents live within walking distance of the Children's Hospital, and we all get to know each other very well. And you, whether good or bad, you can't go to Target in your sweats and not find somebody that you know there. And to me, that's a valuable part of knowing the community and knowing the feel of the place. Recently, over the last couple of years, we built a huge new freestanding children's hospital that is state of the art. It's one of the most advanced children's hospitals in the country. And many of you, if you're college football fans, will have heard of the Iowa Wave, which is a tradition that was actually started by some of our families and patients. And what happens is the children from the top floor, our Key-Monk floor is at the very top of our children's hospital, and they wave down because our football stadium is right there, and the whole stadium stops and waves to these kids. So it really is truly a place that our whole state is proud of, not just our community. Our catchment area is the state as well as the Midwest, and we see everything. We have the highest tertiary care ICUs and surgeries and transplants, as well as the bread and butter general pediatrics that you need to do no matter what kind of pediatrics that you decide to go into. When I think about what we've really tried to foster in our program, besides the sense of community and collaboration, is really truly individualizing the experience that you have here. And we do that by creating as many electives as possible and as many selectives as possible, so that you and your co-residents might be doing, you're all required to do the same sort of baseline rotations because you need that in order to have a good base. But your experience should be different if you are a person going into rural general pediatrics, or if you're a person that's going to be a physician scientist working in the NICU. And we can do both of those very, very well. About half of our residents go into primary care, and about half of our residents go into whatever subspecialty they choose at the fellowship that they choose. So it's something that we really, I think, are very proud of, is the fact that we can individualize our experience. And then finally, I'll leave with one of the things that people wonder about if they've never been to Iowa, and they think they know what Iowa is. Iowa is a rural state. We've got a lot of rural communities and small towns, and all of those people get their care and are very proud of the University of Iowa hospital system. We also have a very diverse community here in Iowa City, and that diversity comes from the university. It also comes from the pockets of rural and underserved and Amish and refugee populations that come to our communities in order to find the things that they need in the United States and in the city. And we're really proud of that. And we serve all of those patients. So you as a resident will, in one building, be able to take care of a patient in the newborn nursery, see them in your continuity clinic, take care of them when they enter the hospital. If they need a heart transplant, you'll be in the PICU seeing them, and your colleagues, of course, too. It's not just you. And then you'll be able to take care of them when they leave the hospital. And that's something we're really proud of, too. We really do take a lot of pride in what we do for the state and for our community. And we would, of course, love to see many of you on the interview trail. And certainly, please feel free to contact any of us if you have any questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We will move on to the next one, which is Nationwide Children's in Columbus, Ohio. And I'll pass it off to Dr. Rebecca Wallahan. I hope I'm saying everyone's names right, by the way. I'm sorry.
You said that perfectly.
Perfect. As someone who has a very hard last name to say, I try my best to, perfect people's last names, whether they're hard or not. So, all right, go
I'm
ahead.
very impressed.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That means a lot after a very long day of work. All right, go ahead and tell us all about Nationwide. Thank you guys so much for listening along.
Well, hi everyone. It's really exciting to have you guys here and to know that there are so many future pediatricians out there. I'm really looking forward to meeting many of you on the interview trail virtually this year. It's challenging to tell you guys all about our program in just 5 minutes, and so I really just want to spend the next couple of minutes highlighting what are either some of my favorite things about our program or some things that I think are pretty unique. And I want to start with what is obviously the most important part about our program, and that's the residents themselves. I'm obviously very biased, but you know, we have fantastic residents and they are doing some pretty amazing things, just a few of which are listed there. But our residents don't only work hard, they play hard too. And I think it's important to all of us to have fun. You know, we are a big program. We have 37 categorical peds per year with 5 child neuro and 1 peds genetics and 10 IM peds. But despite our large size, we still have that family feel that you heard about from the Midwest. And it's really important to us to have that sense of camaraderie and community that are core to kind of who we are as a program, really. In terms of our program highlights, I don't think I'm going to have time to talk about all of them, but I really want to call out a few of them that I think are important. First, I want to talk about our advanced competencies. These are longitudinal programs that are really designed to provide some additional experience, camaraderie, mentorship in areas of interest outside of clinical pediatrics. So we currently have 7 of them, which you can see listed there. None of these are mandatory, but many of our residents choose to take advantage of these opportunities and find that it's a really nice complement to their clinical training. It is really important to us that our residents have a voice. We really value their opinions, and so we have a number of resident-led committees, so wellness, diversity and inclusion, curriculum, recruitment, just to name a few of them. And I found that our most successful initiatives have really been resident-driven, and so we try really hard to provide a platform, support, and resources for our resident ideas, and then honestly just get out of their way and let them work their magic. And then finally, I would be remiss if I did not mention our amazing resident assistants. So we have 6 resident assistants on our inpatient teams, and their whole role is really to support our residents. And sometimes that support means administrative support. So, you know, calling hospitals to track down labs or setting up follow-up appointments. But that also means supporting the mental and physical well-being of our residents. So I'm told that they bring in the best snacks, but they also, you know, encourage people to go out on walks and enjoy the sunshine. And they're really a valued member of our team. Our residents love the resident assistants. I really wanted to leave some time so that you could hear from our residents themselves, because I think their perspective and their experience is really valuable and more important than hearing me talk. So we have 2 residents here with us from our program, Rachel Nash, who's one of our 3rd years, and Evan Ingram, who's one of our 1st years. And so I'm gonna turn the rest of my time over to them so you can hear their perspectives. And I'll start with Rachel.
All right, hi guys, I'm Rachel. So I'm a PGY3. I am a PEDS resident, and I'm also in our dedicated primary care track. So, you know, when I was looking for a program, you know, I interviewed at a lot of programs in the Midwest, and, you know, I went to Iowa for undergrad, so I have that has a special place in my heart. But, you know, I was really looking for a large academic program that had a strong focus in primary care and valued primary care. in addition to population health. So I really found that at Nationwide through the primary care track, and actually all of our residents actually have 2 clinics in primary care. So as an intern, you're obviously in your normal resident clinic, continuity clinic, which largely are in Columbus proper, which are more urban and underserved communities, primarily Medicaid. But then we also have access to what we call our PECS clinic. So that's pediatric education in the community. And so those are private practices out in the community, more suburban and rural. And so we really get to see kind of the whole breadth of primary care, which I think is really helpful if that's an interest area of yours. In addition, we also kind of have a very strong focus on population health on Nationwide. So we have a Healthy Neighborhoods, Healthy Families initiative, which actually is helping to rebuild the community around the hospital and invest in the community in terms of job training and getting people into the hospital actually in different roles. So that's a really cool initiative. And then we actually have one of the largest pediatric ACOs in the country. It might be the largest, I don't know, Dr. Wallahan probably knows, but so that's the largest pediatric ACO, and that's really cool because we can do a lot of really cool things with Medicaid across the state. So I think in terms, and then my co-residents are the best, and it's a great community, even at a large program. So I think there's a lot of really great points here, and I would not trade my experience for the world. So I'm gonna pass it over to Evan, who's one of our interns.
Did you say you have one more person to talk to, or do you want me to advance to the next one?
Well, I thought Evan was gonna say a few words, but I don't know if we have time left, so I don't know.
Oh, okay. I don't know anything about the time being left.
Yeah, I think he's on the call, but Evan, we can't hear you, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
That's okay. We'll just, yeah. I think we can go ahead and move on. Sorry.
Okay. No, you don't have to apologize. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't cutting everyone off, but it was a long enough pause. I felt that something maybe was going wrong. Okay, so thank you so much. That was really awesome from Nationwide. So I'll move on to the next one, and I think this is our last one. The University of Oklahoma, Dr. Casey Hester.
Can you hear me? This is Dr. Warren. Are you able to see me? Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. That's what I thought the Dr. Hester was on, but.
Well, she is on, but I just got kicked off and kicked back in. So the glow that you see on me is actually perspiration, sweating, trying to get back in. So hello to everybody. My name is Jill Warren, and I am one of the 3 associate PDs at the University of Oklahoma in Oklahoma City. And we are super excited to participate in this forum tonight. We've been speaking about Dr. Hester. You can see her picture up there. She is on here with us tonight. She's monitoring the Twitter feed. And if I may suggest, she's at Casey Hester MD, all lowercase. You may want to tweet at her something like hashtag give Jill a raise or whatever you feel like might be appropriate. But feel free to tweet at her. I want to share some highlights that I think are important about our program, but I feel like I want to go off script for just a second and make a comment. This will surprise no one that knows me. But I've been in graduate medical education now for 20, maybe 25, let's just say over 20 years. At some point, the numbers don't matter, right? But I have to just kind of stop and marvel. The condition in the state of pediatric graduate medical education has never been better. As I listen to my colleagues here in this room talking about the programs, and I know what's happening in the other break rooms, and I reflect on the previous webinars I've watched this past week from programs across the country, let me just tell you, I hope that you guys as applicants, you're in the weeds right now looking at all the details of the program, so you have to. But I hope for just a moment you can go to 20,000 feet and really just recognize, wow, there is a literal chorus, like a host of people in front of us, a menu to choose from of super committed, engaged clinicians providing healthcare to children and advancing it. And they're equally invested in educating your generation to pass the baton to and to make things even better. It's remarkable, the depth and the breadth and the quality. It was not like this 20 some years ago. You have a menu to choose from. And I dare say none of you it wouldn't even be possible for you to land in a residency program where there were toxic people or folks with dark hearts. You're going to have an opportunity to get a fantastic education nearly everywhere you choose. So I'd like for everyone to maybe return to normal breathing and stop holding our collective breaths as we approach this complex virtual season that's unprecedented. It's going to be fine. I just encourage you guys, find the place. You're going to get a great education, but find the place where their interests resonate with the passions in your own heart. Land there and you're going to do great. Now, I know I need to stop and go back and talk about our program for a moment, but let me just maybe make a few highlights. I'll let you guys read all the details, but a few things I think are important. You guys well know that medicine begins and ends with the patients. As people have alluded to previously, we have a surprisingly diverse kind of patient population that we have the privilege to serve and the opportunity to learn from in Oklahoma City, urban, suburban, and rural. In addition to that, we have some unique continuity clinic experiences serving the Latino community. If you want to have a practical Spanish immersion experience, you can do that in our Latino clinic. And as well, we have a Fostering Hope clinic that helps serve the really unique needs of children who are in foster care in central Oklahoma. We are, as a team, incredibly committed to resident wellness. I can't even begin to describe how committed we are to resident wellness. We have recently moved to the X+Y scheduling system, partly because we felt like there were going to be some academic advantages, but as well, I think we saw some tremendous opportunities to improve wellness amongst our resident group. On top of that, I think what I really want you to hear is if someone comes to Oklahoma, if you land here as a resident, then know that we are so incredibly invested in you. We want to commit both to equip and empower you to be a phenomenal general pediatrician that's going to be well prepared to practice in rural locations, compete with whoever across the country for whatever fellowship position you want, pursue academics, be a community advocate, whatever your passion is. We feel like we have the resources available to us to meet you there and help you develop to the next step. Residency is hard, and residency is hard because being a doctor is hard. And so we're committed to not just invest in you professionally, but personally. We're small enough that you're going to be known, and I'm not going to say we're always going to be up and in your business, but if there's a need and you need some encouragement and some empowering or maybe exhorting, that's encouragement with a boot, then we will bring that to you to help you, as we say, live your best life while you're in residency. The best physicians have whole hearts and bright thinking minds, and we want to help develop both of those for you. I'll stop at that, and I want to pass it over. Chris Sebastian is with me here tonight in the room, I believe, and he is one of our third-year residents and a rising chief. And so, Chris, I'm going to pitch it to you, and you add whatever you would like.
Thank you so much, Dr. Warren, and thank you all so much for joining us tonight. I don't think Dr. Warren could have stated it better. OU was my last interview, and for me, it was my favorite interview. It captured everything I was looking for, and they got me on the first day. In their interview, they sat down with me and asked, what do I want as a trainee, and how can we help you get there? This is a program that prepares you for the rigors of general pediatrics, but about half of our class goes on to fellowship training. You know, a number of us remain in the Oklahoma City community, but we also radiate out coast to coast as well. There are opportunities down the street to get involved at the Capitol with legislature, advocate for our kids in the neighborhood, in the community, at their schools, and across borders as well, going into the global health field. We've got a group that teams up with Family Med and IMED to go to Uganda, and there's so many other opportunities. This is a program that really adapts to the needs of our patients and the needs of our trainees as well. We recently underwent a curriculum change to this X+Y curriculum that I personally love. It's 3 weeks in one rotation, followed by a Y week that is composed of a variety of experiences to really prepare you, again, to be the pediatrician you want to be. This includes research, boards prep time, time in clinics, certainly, advocacy opportunities, and an opportunity to build a longitudinal curriculum with special individual independent curriculum days. Or you can do a spot check where, hey, I want to work on procedures this month, or I want to work in the ER, or I'd like to see what our physical therapists and our child life specialists are doing. This is truly a program with a can-do attitude. And for me, in training as a general pediatrician, moving on to fellowship certainly, boy, that's what I love. We are the show in town. All of our kids from Oklahoma end up coming to our hospital. We can do it all under one roof. We see a tremendous variety of cases and work with just an amazing group of patients, kids, and families. And really, no matter what you're going into in pediatrics, that makes such a difference for training. I could go on, and I'm sure I'll speak with you all at the residency, little residency after hours session. But it's a pleasure to meet you all today. And let's hear it for the Midwest. Thank you.
Chris, thanks a million. We would invite you guys to reach out to us, check out our website. We have some social media accounts. We would welcome any inquiries you may have before interview season even begins. Thanks again for this chance to meet with you all.
All righty. So
we have one more program.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought that for some reason when I listed the moderators, I thought that Oklahoma was last. So the University of South Dakota is our last one, and Dr. Joe Zenel. Take it over.
And of course, being a Z, I'm always used to being last in the line. So with the short 4 minutes left, I would like to say all the Midwest programs are great. I am not from the Midwest. I was recruited 12 years ago to start a residency program in South Dakota. And I swear I'm a nicer person because I came here. I would say that the faculty and the residents have built this program. The program's 10 years old. In fact, our graduates now are part of the University Medical School. They have positions of leadership. They have positions of leadership in the Sanford Health System, as well as in the state chapter of the American Academy of Pediatrics. We're a small program, 6 residents per year, which means we can't cover all the services. So it's truly education over service. We have a heavy schedule of required subjects in the first year, which gives leeway in the second and third year for the residents to choose their education. Half our residents go into fellowship. They've been very successful in finding matches. And half our graduates go into general pediatrics, whether outpatient or hospitalist medicine. We have a high pass rate. And I would argue that our residents are quite happy practicing in the castle of care. And our biggest advocacy project was when we all jumped in a bus and went overnight to the state capital of Pierre to protest against a bill to making treatment of transgender youth a class 2 misdemeanor. And so we were quite successful in getting the state capital, the legislature, to not pass that bill. So I'm going to pass this over to Tara Robert, who can speak a lot faster than I in the 2 minutes we have left. One of our third-year residents. Tara.
Thanks, Dr. Zenel. Yes, I can speak much, much faster than Dr. Zenel. Can you guys all hear me?
Yep.
Now, okay. I'm in a hotel room right now, so I was just trying to make sure everybody could hear me. But yes, as Dr. Zenel said, I'm one of the third-year pediatric residents. And as somebody that didn't come from the Midwest, I grew up on the East Coast. I never thought in a million years I would land in the Midwest, and I absolutely love it. So what I can say about our program is don't let the small size set you or hold you back. We do only have 6 residents per year, but what that means is that we form very close bonds, that I can go to any number of the residents' homes if I'm having a rough day or if I need some support. And it also means that we're first in line for all procedures. We have no fellows. So any procedure that happens on the inpatient service, outpatient services in the ER, the pediatric residents are the first that they call. A lot of ER providers are very excited when we come down because it means that there's somebody that's, taking care of tons of children. And I personally have done countless lumbar punctures and other procedures because of that small size that we have at the University of South Dakota. The other piece that's really fun too is obviously the castle of care, and everyone knows the castle. The outside of the Children's Hospital is a castle, and patients come from Rapid City all the way on the west side of the state of South Dakota, and they know they are coming to the castle of care, and they get to be treated as princes, princesses, or any other royalty that they prefer. So I have so many positive things that I could say, but I'll hold myself back, and hopefully I didn't talk too fast, Dr. Zennel.
Okay, 1 minute left. Go to it, Q&A.
You guys feel like you said enough with your program?
Yes, we do. We feel so.
Okay. Well, I just want to personally thank everyone. That was really awesome. Even as someone who's a PGY3, I really enjoyed listening to all of you talk about it. For all of the medical students here, it's very obvious that everyone's very passionate about their program. And I want to just remind you guys that every program, no matter where you apply, is going to have whatever you need to graduate residency. ACGME has a rigorous process of procedures and things and all the things you need. So it's just really about looking at these program highlights of all the places that you identify with, and you find your residency family. And obviously this is something that the Midwest, myself, I also came from the East Coast to here because of that family-like atmosphere. And it's really awesome to see how many programs foster that. So next up is our live Q&A. So let me go, let's see if the moderator, no? Okay, so let's go back to what I was told to do is go down the list of the moderators, and we'll kind of, based on all of the questions that we've all received within the chat and everything like that, go by program to make sure we're answering individualized questions. Again, this is something that you guys as medical students really made for yourselves by facilitating this, which I think is so amazing. So please feel obligated to unmute yourselves at any time, enter more questions in the chat. We are all here to answer any questions, even if they pop up and you didn't get a chance to earlier. So I'm Carissa Kalikia. I'm the first one, so I'll start us off. My co-resident Kelsey is here across the table. We're hanging out after we were both in clinic today. So we're gonna go through a couple, and I'll be as quick as possible because I do think we're a little bit behind on time about our program. One of the questions we received was, does being outside of the city of Chicago have any disadvantage? It was the way I believe that she read the question to me. I think being on a standalone pediatric hospital outside the city of Chicago gives us absolutely nothing but a benefit. Truly, we see every single population, and it turns our numbers into crazy numbers. So not only are we seeing our typical common pathologies, but we're also seeing those zebras that you're sitting there in lecture in medical school, or now on your computers because of Zoom and Corona. But regardless, when you hear that, oh, it's a zebra, you'll maybe see this once in your career. We see that, I've seen it 10 times, even in intern year. It gives us an incredible exposure. And then also we're one of the busiest children's hospital in the area of Chicago, despite the fact that we are not actually in the city. It just gives us an amazing opportunity. So our location is actually one of the most advantageous things about our program, which is something really, really individual and amazing. The other question that we had specific to our program was, Dr. Betterly was introducing our individualized program. And when everyone was kind of going and talking about things that were unique about their program, this is the reason I chose this program, was the individualized curriculum. Our program truly fosters whatever kind of education you want to be when you are old. So if you, I almost said when you are older, when you grow up. So if you want to go to fellowship and do a very rare fellowship, or if you want to do something like cardiology, NICU, PICU, we have 100% fellowship match rate, but then we also have amazing mentors in outpatient medicine. And you are able to, second year and third year, truly tailor your schedule and the electives that you want, and you can even create your own. For example, I was very interested in cardiology for a time being. I scrubbed into cardiovascular surgery because we have such a strong CV program, and everyone kind of took me under their wing, even though no one has ever done that before as a resident. So I can't say enough positive things, and I'm gonna take way too much time being first here talking about our program. It's super amazing, and Dr. Betterly did a great job kind of summarizing all we have to do in our program. And I think the best thing about it in general, which was one more question we got, like there was a generalized question about what everyone's favorite thing about their program is. It kind of speaks on, apparently it's a Midwest thing, but it's the reason I chose this program. It's coming from Pittsburgh. I didn't know anyone. I was moving away from my fiance. It truly is a home away from home and my family away from family. Our residents, having 13 a year, are such a family. We all prioritize each other's life, wellness, goals, everything. And not only are we friends with each other, the third years are friends with the second year's friends with the interns. We're all just one big happy family, but also the attendings. The attendings know our names, our dogs, our fiancés, our husbands. We just hang out, and that is the best environment to learn, when you feel supported, when you feel like a family. Because when you're going through a hard time, when you're going through anything that you need, whether you need advice for life or help with an interview or something, every single person, every single attending, and every single resident will have your back. So that's something really, really cool. So those were all our program specific things. I'll pass it off to Sonia and Sean. And Sean, I'm so sorry. I mispronounced your name the first time. I didn't realize. But
do not worry at all. I've heard every variation. It's okay.
I did my best. No pun intended, because your last name is Best.
Their question is, what does the mental health track entail?
So your question was, what does the mental health track for Case Western entail?
If it's okay, I was going to start with the Med Peds one, if that's okay. So for the person who was asking about how our and I apologize, my cat just entered the screen, sorry. So our Med Peds residents are really integrated into the pediatric side of the hospital. In general, they rotate between medicine and pediatrics about every 2.5 to 3 months. So when they're on their pediatric rotations, they are right along there with you, and they take part in all of the retreats that we do throughout our time at Rainbow, and are integrated into that. One of the nice things about the 6+2 system, as Ashley was talking about before, is we spend 2 dedicated weeks on ambulatory, and within that time we actually have flights. So each of the classes is broken up into 4 different flights that are named after 4 very well-known Rainbow pediatricians. And during that time, there are Med Peds people within those flights. You are with the same people every time you go to clinic. So in addition to getting to know the second years and the third years in the residency as well, you also get a chance to bond with the Med Peds residents as well. So they are really well integrated, and they are fantastic to work with. And I think the medicine side of people, they bring a different perspective that sometimes we don't get in Peds. So we really value their input when we work with them as well.
Yeah, so we're gonna do our best to kind of continue. I'm so sorry. I think everyone's little program presentation, but apparently we're going back from a breakout rooms in 47 seconds, so I'll go really fast. Megan and Melissa from the University of Iowa, what were their questions?
They were just general questions after that about letters of rec.
About letters of rec.
For people not able to do rotations.
For people not able to do rotations, they were interested in who to ask for letters of rec. Megan and Melissa, are you here?
Or should we meet back in the main room?
So maybe what we'll do, just because we're running kind of short on time with the Q&A, does anyone from Nationwide or Oklahoma or anyone have like something to say really quick before we log back in? If not, as I said, we should really just keep asking questions during the residency Q&A. All of us can talk very highly about each one of our programs and feel obligated to ask all those questions one more.
We'll start the resident after hours.
I guess a few things we can mention while we're waiting. all of the sessions have been recorded.